statistically, some of your stats are just amazing, all four of you. But I don't think statistics really tell the real story of a man's. I think sometimes we cheapen our exploits when we talk about numbers. What would you say, Bill, outside of those amazing statistics you had, what do you think your legacy would be here outside of those numbers? Or how would you like to be remembered? What legacy would stand out to you?
Well, you know, I always felt that we were just continuing something that these guys had established when we were here. There was an extraordinarily high standard that was already set. I was really excited to play with the guys that I played with because, for one thing, all of them were better athletes than I was. And in particular, this guy, James Hardy, who, if he walked in the gym today, I don't care who's in there, he's a better athlete than those guys. Yeah. He was a really special guy to play with. But, you know, just to really carry on that tradition. We never won a championship, but I felt like we were always very, very close. And I think that we represented our school extraordinarily well by how we played, how excited we were. We had people from the rafters as well. And we did it the right way by just continuing hard work, focus. And we played with some guys that are really smart guys like Chubby Cox, who was a great guard for us in our championship year. Really led us. He was kind of a calming factor, so he would kind of settle us down and get us pointed in the right direction. So just how we handle ourselves on the floor, I would say.
And Mike, you're All-American, two-time WCC Player of the Year, 3 West Coast championships, regarded as the best defender in the country, and everybody says that about you. NBA career, 7 years, but what would you think? What would you like to be remembered as here?
I think just the way that we came back after the championship year, and I think I was proud of our senior year. We were 25-1. Elgin Baylor with Seattle. We'd already beaten them twice, once at Louisville in a tournament there and once at home. And then Elgin Baylor hit a last-second jump shot to knock us out.
Wow.
And I had already fouled out. Poor John Cunningham, who was a backup forward, he had to guard Elgin Baylor at the end, and he never lived it down. He ended up going with Phil Wolpert to University of San Diego and became the baseball coach there. But poor John had to live with that forever, getting kidded about Elgin Baylor. And the other time that I was disappointed, we had the 60-game winning streak going, and we went into Illinois, and their bench had heat, ours didn't. Locker room didn't have heat. It was just like it was stacked against us.
Sounds like you're playing Notre Dame.
Just like that. It was in Illinois. So we lost at Illinois, and but then we went on that year to come in third in the NCAA final. So being remembered as part of a team that put a lot of effort into it, and the fact is that we had to do 5 minutes every day of defensive slides. We had the biggest quads in the world, and I think that's why we led the nation for 4 years in defense.
Yeah.
Was the fact is that once we were at practice, Ross Judici had 2 broom handles taped together, and if you weren't sit in a flex position, he would jab you in the back of the legs. So it was always stay flexed and play hard.
His name is such a pivotal part here at USF, and as an assistant coach, you made such a huge impact. When you talk to guys from your generation of players, they really always cite him. He was a special coach, huh?
Yeah, he really was. He and Phil Wolpert worked well together. Phil was more of a manager of people. He was, but Ross was the guy that got down in the trenches and worked with you on every little thing. Everything was tweaked. He wanted everything to be right. He says you can get fundamentally strong and then you can get creative. Don't try to get creative before you get fundamentally strong. And I've always appreciated that. And that's what I try to teach with the kids I'm working with today.
Yeah. And Joe, you're an All-American, 3-time All-WCC player, went to the NCAA tournament, 2 years, last year. That just shows the difference today too. The NIT, last year you were 22-6 and go to the NIT. I think was it 22-6 and go to the NIT? That's pretty amazing. But and left here as a 3rd-time all-time leading scorer for the school. But again, beyond those numbers, what do you think your legacy was here?
Well, yeah, I think I would like to be remembered as a consummate team player, but also that I was competitive and entertaining. Very simple as that. I just love to play the game. So every time I stepped on the floor between the lines, I put maximum effort in at all times. And hopefully complimentary to my other teammates. So that's how I would like to be remembered, and really as a competitor.
Yeah, you sure were. And Ollie, you're cross country, so I don't get to see you as much, but when I called you a couple weeks ago, it was just a thrill for me to talk to you. I've kind of following you when I was a kid and looking up to you. And obviously you've left a huge legacy here on campus. How would you like to be remembered?
Well, I think as a team aspect, to keep the legacy going, and also once you get the taste of the NC2A regionals, the goal is to go back there, and I think that was the goal, and we always strive to do that, and we would accomplish that in that feat to get back to the NC2A. You want to win, and also to leave the legacy that we left, that this group left here, to continue the legacy of USF.
And Ollie, you're talking about statistics. I mean, your run in the 1965 NCAA tournament, 36 points per game in the tournament, and 18.5 rebounds, is just astounding. I just, you were in the zone before there was a zone. We didn't even talk about that back then. How did you achieve such amazing numbers night after night in that tournament?
Well, I don't know what the zone means, but I think you don't think about it at the time. You just into the game, and you just win it, try to win. And you do anything you can as a team and as an individual, and you really don't. I didn't understand that until after the game, because you're so involved in the game, right, that you don't understand what you're doing. You're just trying to win, and you look at the scoreboard and trying to come out on the winning end.
I can add a little bit to that, because we knew that this guy at that time was the best 6'8" center in the country, and we knew that if we needed a bucket, that's where we were going to go, because there was nobody that could handle him around the hoop.
Yeah, but also it was in and out, inside first and out.
Yes, inside out. We played inside out games.
So if they cheated, you had the ball, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Joe, you played the game with such flair. I mean, even in high school, you just had a style about you. And I tell you, when I first met you, I didn't really, you're so unassuming, I really didn't even know you were that Joe Ellis, that I had your basketball card when I was a kid growing up. And I remember we joked about that, but I always remember you just had such distinctive flair, and you played the game with such love and passion, and really excited people to play. How did you develop that style?
I can say from the playgrounds, every Saturday morning we'd go out to Defirmary Park, and what you had all the guys coming back from college and the street players from West Oakland. I mean, there was just so much talent there, and as a youngster, I had to get there early, because if I didn't get there early, I might not have gotten a chance to play. And if you lose one game, 3-on-3, if you lose one game, you're done for the day. You got to go. You got to go to the other basket to play, because unless someone that had winners picked you, then you were done for the day. So I just, I guess it's just trying to play up to the level of my competitors, the older guys.